welcome to the Jesse Lee Falls podcast. Thanks for joining us. We got Yoshi Aoki.
Right.
All right, and you are a songwriter, guitar player.
Yeah.
What style of music? What style of music do you usually do?
Basically, my fundamental is the improvisation. That's what I like.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
You know, the funk, rock.
So fusion-y.
Yeah, fusion-y. As long as there's the room for improvising. That's
yeah.
what really drives me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Grateful Dead.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah, that way, you know, I always try to put my guest under the pressure cooker. You know, it's like, can you put your music into a genre?
Oh, I see.
Because if you can't, you need to work on that. You gotta, you gotta be able, because especially for like elevator statements, you know, I know.
That's true.
You know, it's like if you get in front of somebody who's a decision maker, and the first thing they're gonna ask you is, what kind of music do you play? And if you're, you know, so many musicians are like, oh, I do a little bit of everything. Yeah, right. They hate that. That's the worst. It's the worst answer. You can't. Because they're like, we don't know how to market everything. Like you need to, you know, you have to be in a genre. You know. So that's good, man.
So did I pass the test?
Yes, you passed the test. Yeah. All right.
Well, maybe I can say
check
like
one.
Check. Okay. Yeah. Jam band.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
that's okay though, man, because it's like, you know, people got to be able to conceptualize it. You know? It's hard to conceptualize. You know, it's like, oh, well, we pretty much do like everything, or you know, and I can be a little guilty of that too, because I do like rock and funk, so it's a little bit of a fusion thing going on, right?
True.
But yeah, anyways, so that's cool.
Yeah. So the improvisation makes the really good point here, because that's definitely, you know, make you different from tribute bands or. You know, that kind of stuff?
Well, yeah, because you're creating on the spot.
Exactly. So you're not going to be played note to note.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just, I think that's the biggest.
That's cool, man. That's where the freedom's at, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you can play a lot of different genre, and still you get to say jam band.
Right.
Funk or reggae.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I haven't heard that before. Funcore. I like that. That's
What's
kind
that?
Oh, I thought that's what you said. I think it's called. I was like, man, that should be a genre.
Funkcore?
Funcore.
That's funny.
I don't know why, but that just has like I was like, man, is that what you just said? Like, damn, that's like a pretty good idea. So that's what's cool about this podcast. Like, we'll just through bullshitting, man. We'll just start coming up with like cool marketing concepts, and I'll just grab them right out of the thin air. Like wait, and it's like, that's like.
I want to make that my new band name.
Yeah, man.
Before you do something.
Yeah, like, you know, we're recruiting. Welcome to the Funcore.
I know.
You know.
I know.
I can't help it, man.
Yeah, very. It's interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of connotation in that.
Fucking marketing slogans all day long, dude.
Oh my God.
Marketing slogans, man.
So you like talking about band's name?
Oh yeah, band names always.
But then your band name.
Everything's a band name, dude.
Well, wait a second. Your band name is the most boring, though, in a way.
Yeah, I know it is.
I mean, your name and then band.
That's it.
Yeah, what's up with that? I mean,
yeah, no, it's a good question, man. So I love it when I get asked that, because well, that's true. Because so the reason why I go under my name is because I'm pretty much I'm the sole songwriter.
Yeah.
And so I got really frustrated back in the day because so when I was 19, between the time that I was 19 and 23, we had a band here in Astoria called The Function.
Okay.
And we were good. I mean, we were like a 7 piece funk band. You know, I was, you know, still writing the majority of the music, but it was more of a collaboration. But anyways, we were young, and I wanted to go on the road, and you know, a lot of the members at the time just they didn't want to. So some of them were in college still, and some of them were just doing kind of like, you know, coffee shop jobs.
Yeah.
But nobody was willing to like actually sacrifice, you know, to like go on the road, man. And,
Priority.
And so the band kept breaking up, and I put so much time and energy into that band that when it broke up, I was 25 and I was living in California, and I hadn't done any music for a few years, and so I went and bought a bunch of gear, didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, I'm gonna put out a fucking album and I'm gonna just do it under my name. And the reason why is because I don't want to be in a situation where the band broke up anymore. Because every time a band breaks up, you lose all that branding that you just put all that hard work into it. And it's hard to brand your band. And so it was like I couldn't deal with that kind of heartbreak anymore. And it was like, I need something that's going to be solid. Mm-hmm. And one of my biggest heroes is Joe Satriani, Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan. And so I'm like, I'm seeing a theme here.
I see.
And I was like, you know what?
Uh-huh.
My name doesn't totally suck as my actual real name. It's got a I mean, it's not a stage name, but it's like, I didn't choose it. But it's got a little bit of a ring. My last name Falls has a little bit of a punniness to it, and so I was in a store one day, and there was one of those wet floor signs, and I just kind of caught my eye with the dude slipping and falling, and I was like, dude, I could incorporate that into like my logo, and it was like, because I need something that's like, industrial and like a logo, that kind of a brand, and so with that idea, and then where I needed to cross over and make it make sense marketing wise was, okay, well, brings me back to your point, which is like, why would you name your band after yourself when that doesn't describe to anybody what style of music it is? And it's like, that's a great point. And what I did was I found that bridge to be able to explain what style of music I'm doing with the logo, with my name. And so, I kept seeing these, slow down, children at play signs. And so I really just kind of combined the two. And I was like, oh, caution, funky kids at play. And it was like one of those like revolutionary moments, man. It was like, that's it. That is it, So it's a really good question, and I love answering that question because it also made me realize that if I'm going to continue to for the longevity of this band or whatever I'm doing, for it to have any kind of longevity, for it to not crumble into itself because certain band members are leaving or whatever, is I had to really put myself in this frame of mind that, for one, I need it to be under my name because it eliminates all of the issues for publishing and for legalities.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, so that way it's like if and when any royalty checks actually start showing up, it's like there's no question of who wrote the damn song. It's like because most bands are like, if any royalties are showing up in most bands, it's like it's an even split, man. So each member's getting 25%, and I just got to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm not going to keep writing music just so I can hand an equal share of my royalties over to band members who didn't participate in the fucking writing. And I was like, we got to get kind of smart about protecting ourselves because musicians, we're agreeable people, and agreeable people can get taken advantage of. There's parasitic psychopaths out there in the big macro side and the micro, and even the micro side of the music industry. There's these parasites. They don't have any talent themselves, and so they try to attach themselves to you. Managers, agents.
Interesting.
And it's like, you got to be aware of that stuff, man, because those are the pitfalls. I mean, we've all heard horror stories of certain bands, like Grand Funk Railroad has a horrible fucking. They have probably one of the worst stories as far as getting screwed by business end of the. Yeah. So, anyways, I won't go into that too much, but I do love that question. And it's a really good question because a lot of people think that it's an ego thing, oh, well, he's putting his name on the front, you know, because, you know, well, he's into his ego and he's into leaving a legacy. It's like, no, it's actually the best way I can protect myself. And yeah, so, but for a while though, it was kind of a weird thing. People ask you, okay, well, what's the name of the band? Oh, the Jesse Lee Falls Band. Well, that doesn't tell anybody what style of music it is. And so, you know, it's taken me years to finally bridge that gap with the marketing to be able to, like, oh, now I have this logo, and you can, you know, now you know, the type of music, it's like, oh, it's all in the logo, you know. So having a good a good marketing slogan to go along with your logo, I was like, oh, I can do both. I can, you know, and that's how I'm going to bridge that gap, because the logo itself is pretty cool and simple. It's like, okay, but then with the Caution and Funky Kids at Play, it's like, okay, now I know what I'm getting into. So, anyways, but yeah.
You know, I was just in the exact place where
Yoshi.
those band name change, member change, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then you put a lot of thing, even account of YouTube. You know, you got to change everything. So
That's
I was
right.
just going through that, the same thing, and then also that just having your name on a band is just really give you a total freedom to go certain directions, and you don't have to change direction every time the new member comes in and out.
That's right.
So in terms of that, you know, set list wise, that makes total sense to have the control.
And I saw that, you know, Joe Satriani had a lot of flexibility with his, you know, it's like, you know, he's all under the umbrella of rock instrumental. But what I noticed with his albums and his songs is like his songs had had like an individualness to them. You know, like he would you know, it wouldn't just be rock. I mean, there's like, you know, a couple tunes in there that are actually kind of funky, and it's like, oh, this guy has like way more freedom to branch out in genres because he does instrumental music, and so you can actually do that. You can actually branch out into different genres just a little bit without alienating your audience. Like, oh, they changed, you know, and I was like, that's really cool, man. Like, and it kind of dawned on me. I was like, well, I think that he can do that because he was smart in two ways. One, well, I'm going to do instrumental music, so because there's no lyrics, then, you know, I can genre bend and get a little more fusion-y, you know, with the songs, but at the same time, going under his own name and not being like this, like the way that, I mean, Metallica, that's a brand, you know, because it even explains the style of music that you're getting into. I mean, Metallica, it's like, it's metal. I mean, it's like, you know, yeah. So there's certain things Metallica, they can't veer. They can't veer off. They are pigeonholed.
Yeah, themselves.
And I think that, you know, even though we have to somewhat pigeonhole ourselves to a genre like we just talked about, somebody like Joe can actually, I don't know, I think he was really smart in that aspect, that because he's in a more of an open and accepting genre, you know.
Yeah. Besides, you know, even if you go to the different genres and stuff, if the person, like you are the leader of the band, and then you are the one who's choosing, so there's a certain theme, even though the genre is different, but the selector is you. Whereas if there are multiple people selecting, oh, let's go to reggae, I like this reggae, and then the other person sees her saying a total another genre, and within the genre in a different thing. So it's cohesiveness is totally different, you know, by one person.
Yeah,
because
it's you're trying to cooperate and collaborate, and so like everybody's opinions are, you know, valid. You know,
so that's where I'm at, you know, in terms of a band carrying how you manage a band type of thing. You know, this name discussion, it's really kind of covers a lot of aspects I was thinking.
Yeah.
So, you know, right now I'm just what I'm going to do, the band name even, come up with a new band name, and then you come up with something really good, but then, you know, the drummer goes,
do you not like,
that sucks.
Well, do you not like Smoke and Mirrors? Because that's the name you've been going under.